This video will show you the basics of table joins in ArcMap. It is one of the most common procedures conducted, and everyone should know how to use it. It is especially useful for adding non-spatial data to existing layers. In this illustration, we have two tables with a common field, town ID. With the table join, you will essentially attach the tables to each other with the town ID field acting as a zipper between them. You can see in the output at the bottom that each address has been matched to its corresponding town. So by closer examination, you can see that 22 Orange Street, which has a town ID of 1, has been matched up to Acton here. Same thing with 47 Maple Grove, which had an ID of 2, was matched up to Concord, and so on. A slight limitation to table joins is that they are a one-to-one join. As you can see here, there can only be one match to each one. One-to-many and many-to-many are for table relates or table relations, which will be covered in another video. As you can see here, one of the things that happens with a table join, being that it's one-to-one, is if there's multiple matches, such as having two matches over here, it will only join the first set of data into it, and it will ignore the second, third, and henceforth from there. That you should be aware of when conducting a table join. The name of the fields do not have to be the same, but the data type has to be the same, as you can only join numbers to numbers, strings to strings, and so on. Also, whatever you're joining to each other has to be the exact same, so you need to make sure that the spelling is correct, that there's no capital letters, or if there are, that they're the same letter. Punctuation is very important. I've run into this problem many times with St. Lucie and St. John County having a period. And going back to spelling as well, sometimes people will spell out the whole word saint rather than abbreviated ST. And the other thing is field type. Sometimes numbers can come in as a string or text, and the other way around. This can be fixed in Excel prior to, or you can create a new field and use the field calculator. That will be covered in another video as well, but it's very important to make sure that whatever you're trying to match to each other are the exact same, otherwise it'll overlook it. So for the example that I'll dive into in ArcMap is we're going to be creating this chloropleth map. So what I have here is the number of strep cases per county, and I've just symbolized them by color based on how many cases there are. And to do so, I will join a non-spatial table that I have of a number of cases per county into my existing layer of counties. So here you can see that I have my counties, and I have a table as well in here that I've dragged in called County Strep Original. So we'll take a look at this real quick by opening it up. And you can see that I actually have 68. There's 67 counties, but in this table I have 68 rows. And I'll just show you what I did is I actually have 2 rows for Monroe County. So there's one here and there's one right here as well. And like I showed you before, what it's going to do is when I perform this join, it's actually only going to match it Monroe County to this first one, and it's going to ignore the second one down here because it's one-to-one. The other thing is I want to make sure that my spelling and my punctuation and everything is complete. I have a few mistakes in here, and you'll see what happens when I join this and they don't match up. So to perform a table join, there's 2 ways you can do so. I'll show you the first one with this table, and then I'll show you the second way with the corrected table. So essentially, I can just, and let me open this up real quick. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be joining uh, that table with the counties to county name, because that's what matches up. And you can see they have different field names, but it doesn't matter because they have the same information in it. So this is county name, and then in this one it's just called county. So what I can do is I can right click my counties, and I'll just simply go to joins and relates. We're going to want to perform a join right now. Say join attributes from the table. It automatically brings in this because it's the only table that I have available. But if you had more in there, it would just select the first one in the list. And then choose the field in this layer that the join will be based on. So this layer, meaning the counties, I'm going to perform the join based on my county name. And you can see that it automatically selected county because it's the only field type that matches up. It's the only other field in my county stretch CSV that is a text, because my other one is a number. So you can see here that if I wanted to use the county FIPS, it's going to change. It's going to think that even though nothing's going to match up, because this is a number, it thinks I'm trying to join it to strep cases. But I want to do county name, automatically chooses county. I want to say keep all records for this one, and I can hit validate join. And it will run through this and check and say 65 of the 67 matched. So that's pretty good, but I want to know about the 2 that didn't match and why. So I'll hit close and hit OK. So now if I come back and reopen this table, you can see it added those 2 fields from my county strep CSV, and it pretty much appended them in based off, it matched up county to county, Alachua to Alachua, Baker to Baker. So that's good to see. But there's some that didn't match up, and as I scroll through, here's those 2. So 65 out of 67. So there's 2 that didn't match up, and I wonder why they didn't match up. They didn't match up because something went wrong. It didn't find Dade County, and it didn't find St. John's. So that means I have to go back and look at Miami-Dade. I have to look at St. John's in my other table and see what didn't match up. So if I open this up again, I can see that in this one, I actually don't have it called Miami-Dade, I have it called Dade County, and that's why I didn't match up to that one. And then same thing with St. John's, is I had spelled out Saint rather than putting the ST period. So what you have to do is you can unjoin this. You don't need that join since they didn't all come in. And I simply just did that by going back to joins and relates. I'm going to remove joins. And I have a corrected, I've already changed these prior to, I can drag that in. So you can see here that also, if you recall, Monroe only joined that first one and not that one down on the end. So if I open up county strep corrected, I in this one have fixed it to Miami-Dade, there's St. John's, and I got rid of that last row that said Monroe. So now there's 67, they should all be correct and matched up. And I just did that by opening up Excel. I would have opened up this CSV in Excel, and I would have made those changes and then resaved it. So I'll show you the other way to do a table join is, if I get rid of these, you can come back in here, and go to join table, and because there's nothing there, I don't know where to look, you can actually hit this folder and you can just go find it. It doesn't have to be in the ArcMap session to use it. So if I go find where it's at, go to my folder connections, come over to training, There's my table joins, and so there's my county strip corrected. So I can just go find it there. I say I want to do county name. It's going to match up county again, and I can hit validate join. And there you go, 67 out of the 67 matched because I went back into my Excel. I changed those two that didn't match up to match what I had existing from my county's shapefile. And so now if I open this up, they should all be there. I can scroll through and every number is there. So I can come into the symbology for this. I can go to quantities, use graduated colors, and the value will be a number of strep cases, which I used a random number generator for. These aren't actual numbers of strep cases in the counties. I'll just use this color ramp, and you can see it did 5 natural breaks, and I can hit OK. And there you go. That's the map that we have in our PowerPoint example. So that is performing table joins. If you have any questions about it or problems, you can contact me here. It's my information. Or you can go to this website. It's the ArcGIS resources page on table joins. They're very useful and very commonly used. You can do more than one table join. If you want to keep adding information in, you can do more than one at a time. So hopefully this gets you started with table joins and gives you a better understanding of it.